Alright, now that I've got some more room in here for assembly, I've got the frame just barely inside the headboard right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt the headboard this way so that the headboard and the frame form a 90-degree corner. And we'll push this into the headboard, clamp it in place, and then the whole assembly will be lifted up like so, and then the footboard will go in place like that. Would be a lot easier with a couple people, and where this is going, they may have a couple people to help, but for right now this is just me, so this is what I'm going to do. My initial plan, which is what I did on the bunk beds that were twin size, was to lay the headboard and footboard on its side like this and put the frame in place and then stand the whole bed up. However, I tried with the headboard piece to rotate it just to see if I had the clearance, which I don't, so I can't rotate it that way. So, you know, one-man shop, this is what you got to do sometimes. So it's gonna be a lot of work from here on out to get this all assembled. And also, I forgot, once I get this all put together, I forgot about that little guardrail that goes on the front. So I'm gonna be building that here soon. All right, so I've got the headboard side in, like I said, on a 90-degree, and then just lifted it up. That side's just clamped in right now with 2 clamps. This side I'm still working on getting in, but before I got, excuse me, before I got any further, there's nothing to really gauge my height here, where to line it up with. All I have is a little mark. That's where I need to stop. On this side, I've got that shelf I can just clamp to, and that's my vertical reference, so that's good. But to get this side, like I did in the twin beds, I made these little spacer blocks that I wrote the dimension on, and I just set them in place, put it in, screwed it in place, took them out. Here, I'm just going to screw these in. These are 8.5 inches from the top ladder rung up into the bed frame where it starts. The fourth ladder rung, I should say. And the bed will sit down in place and screw into here and also into here. I'm just going to leave that in place. Like I said, you know, it's kind of hidden from the outside. You can't see it from the inside. You know, big deal. It's just screwed in place. It can be removed with a screwdriver if necessary. And yeah, that'll help line everything up. So whenever they get ready to put this in place, all you gotta do is just line it up with that, and all the screw holes should line up. Starting to come together. This is a lot of the tough work right now. Alright, it's all in place where it should be in all 4 corners. I've taken a 12-inch speed square, and everything is nice and square on all four corners, like I said. And from here on out, I'm going to secure the frame to the footboard with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 2.5-inch star-headed screws. You know, that might be overkill. I don't care. I just don't want this thing to move. And I'm using screws instead of bolts because I don't want the appearance like you see on most bunk beds. You see a bolt head sticking out over here. I want this clean appearance on the outside. You won't see any fasteners from the outside, which is cool. So I'm going to use screws from the inside, and the only problem with screws is if you go to move this thing, you want to make sure you hit the same hole twice. So that's why I've got these gauge blocks in place. And also, you know, an argument could be that the screws could wear out with multiple disassemblies and assemblies. I don't think it can. If it does, or I don't think it will, if it does, you know, just a little drop of water in each screw hole will expand that joint again, and the screw will fit nice and snug. And also that there's going to be 9 screws here, so if one fails, you know, there's plenty of support. Starting to work on this guardrail, and I've already got my horizontal piece. I'm just going to use a piece of scrap that happens to be a good distance. And I'm using these vertical pieces that, when lined up at the bottom here, will be the same height as the legs. And to secure them, I guess you could just screw them on there and that'd be alright. But I want a way to make it a little bit easier for it to install. So I'm going to make a shallow rabbet on the back side, the full 5.5 inches of this 2x6. That way it'll sit in and gravity will rest it in that rabbet. Make it a little bit easier for it to be screwed in place once they get to putting this thing together. Alright, so this is the guardrail assembly. You know, I've still got to round off all the corners and sand it all once it's all complete. But what I've done is on the back side of all three of these vertical pieces, 5.5 inches by about 1/4 of an inch, I made a rabbet on this side. And then same up here, 3.5 inches by 1/4 inch. It's actually about 3 3/8. That way the tops of these don't go to the top of the rail. And to secure them, I'm going to come through the back side and screw 4 screws into here from the back side, and then inside the frame I'm going to secure it this way, and that way from the outside you will still get this very, very clean appearance and you won't see any fasteners. And there is the guardrail. Like I said, I cut little rabbets in here, that way for installation it'll be a little easier. Still got to round over all the edges. I've got it clamped in place right now, and what I'm going to do is from the inside, just going to put 4 screws right where you can see on all of these, and that should hold it just fine. Now I'm using 2.5 inch screws, and these are total width from both pieces is 3 inches minus this rabbet, so I'm putting them in on a little bit of an angle. That way I can countersink them a little bit and less chance of it coming through the other side. And here's the bed all completed. It's 5 feet, stands 5 feet from right here down. I've got 3 pretty decent sized shelves inside here, roughly 16 inches in between, 15, I forget what exact my measurement was. And I've got another shelf right here and up here. Guardrail in the front. Everything still has to be sanded and rounded over and all that good stuff, but the bed is done basically. So no screws or screw holes visible from the outside. Everything's secured from the inside. And I weigh 170, and let me climb. Let's see. Climb this right in the middle. I don't feel anything bowing, so. And all my weight is on one slat. So, neat view of the shop from up here. Like I said, all the screws are on the inside. Not a big deal. You know, the bed will cover those pocket hole screws. These top ones will be visible. But I'm up here and I'm shaking. And the bed's pretty strong. The person this is going to originally asked for triangle supports on the bottom side, and see, I've got some cut sitting on that sawhorse right there. The way I have them cut is they're about 12 inches, so if you wanted to on top, you could start underneath this 2x4 and come down here, and just that much of a triangle will really strengthen this up. I'm up here and I'm moving around. I don't think it's necessary, but I'm going to include them in case she wants to put them in there. One for either side, so you know, that side's pretty darn strong. I've got I forgot to record the securing that side. So underneath this vertical 2x6, there's a pocket inside there, and there's 8 screws securing this 2x6 to this 2x6. So pretty strong. Like I said, there is 9 screws holding the frame to the legs. If I move there, yeah, you got 6 going into here and 3 going into there, so that'll work. But I'm gonna get down real quick and try not to kill myself. Alright, just to these are the little triangle pieces I was talking about. With them in there, you'll barely be able to see them, and you bring support all the way up to here. So top or bottom, whatever you want to do. I don't think a real long piece is necessary. That'll give it enough strength if needed. But, you know, I don't think it's necessary. Just to see how much this thing wiggles, because I can't really tell as I'm climbing up and down. I'm going to record it real quick. And you can get up here no problem. And it try and wiggle it around. And then left to right. It is extremely solid this way. There's so much lateral support that way. Yeah, I don't think they're necessary, but like I said, I'm going to include them just in case she wants to put them on. But the bed is done, and I'm ready to have my shop back. So I hope you can build one of these. I should be able to get a materials list and have everything in the description in case you want to with the SketchUp file. But pretty fun build, pretty cheap build, very inexpensive to do, a lot cheaper and a lot stronger than in any of those IKEA crappy beds. No offense, IKEA. But yeah, the project's done. If you like what you see, like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.